What's going on, YouTube? Good morning, and Dave here again. Today, what we're taking a look at, I wanted to go over some things I don't know if I've touched on in the past. One, if you're going to build a kit, especially a mini, take the time to clean that up. Get rid of the little nub marks from these pieces here, because it's going to show in the end. I see a lot of people that, they don't care and they just throw it together because they want to play. Then I see some people that they paint them up and they want to display them and even put them in shows. And ultimately, I, being a modeler myself, I end up seeing the little nubs and things on the plastic, and you just want to get rid of them. So I want to show you the proper way to do it. Now for today's video, we're going to be using 4 simple tools. One of these is completely optional. Links will be down in the description to everything that I end up using. First off, we're just going to use a file. This is just a nail file. I have them in different grits. They come in super handy and they are super cheap. So definitely pick these up. Now, there are Amazon links down in the description to be able to pick these up, but you can pick these up at the dollar store. You can pick them up at any beauty supply shop. Luckily, my other half is in that industry, so I get them fairly cheap and in bulk. Next up, I have some nippers. Now myself, I use the Tamiya sharp pointed nippers, and these are my go-to. I have like 3 pair. Every year I get a new one. I have probably 6 or 7 different pairs sitting over there, but these are my go-to that I keep coming back to. Next up, I have a hobby knife. Now you can use any that takes an X-Acto blade. This one is a Tamiya one that has these little blades on here. It's just super handy, and I've actually never ended up nicking myself versus using a regular hobby knife having the shorter blade. This side works perfect for trimming off the nubs, and the back side works perfect for trimming down the seam lines. Next up is the optional. This is a polishing block. We're not going to use this side on this plastic because it's going to make it too shiny and too smooth. So the primer and other paint will not end up sticking to it. We're just going to use this rough side just to smooth it out and make sure we get a good solid finish on there. Getting you guys all close, you can see we have 1, 2, 3 on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the nippers and just nip it down real close. I'm not going to actually trim it down smooth with the plastic because you don't want it to actually bite in. It is better to have a little bit left over and sand it down than it is to gouge into the plastic. Next up, we're just going to use the blade and just lightly take off any remaining that's on there. I do suggest changing out your blades on a regular basis, maybe every couple kits or something like that, when you notice that it starts being dull. One thing to keep in mind with sanding sticks is as you use them, they're going to wear down and smooth out. This one's probably the smoothest side because I've used it the most. Next up, and then these are going to be the roughest over here. So just kind of use your own judgment on that. Now, I'm not going to go over the whole seam line, just where there's the nubs. And you're just wanting to flush it down with the surface. I'm just using the very edge over where the nub is. It kind of conforms to the shape. Once you get the majority of that off, just take the back side of your hobby knife run across. You don't want to push down, just use a light weight on there. What'll end up happening is if anything is left on there, you will end up feeling it in your fingers. You'll actually feel the drag of it, and that'll tell you whether you've got a nice surface on there. Now, once you've got that part done, people end up forgetting little details like in here. You're going to have a seam line. Just remember, run the blade along there just to get rid of that, because once you prime it and then you paint it, you're going to see it. A lot of people think that with a little seam line, if it's in a detail, something like that, oh, it's not going to be seen. I barely see it. The problem is once you start painting, it starts adding layers on top of that, and it actually just ends up magnifying it, which is not a good thing. Once you have that all down and everything, we're just going to take the buffing block. We're just going to take the buffing block, go over the surfaces, and as you can see, it is nice and smooth again. All right, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, definitely stick around. Click the little icon that's right there. You can subscribe to my channel for more updates. And I have a lot more little tips, tricks, and things coming up. So without further ado, I'm going to get into building the rest of this Mortarion. Until next time, YouTube, peace out.